time we see gender as a spectrum instead of two sets. In fact, it's now not just two sets, we have three sets. It's legal in India, the third gender. They have to be given recognition and recognized. So, how does sexism actually look like? Some of the examples, okay, how they actually appear subtly, how they appear in our day to day life, day to day conversations, without knowingly, unintentionally, because of our the way we have been tuned to that, right? So, insults masquerading as jokes, right? A very classic joke is, hey, that must be a women driver, right? Pakka, that must be 100% that must be a woman, right? Those simple things, right? Or something like, oh, you women, you don't even know anything about cars. Oh, we know so much about your women clothing and dressing. So why can't you women pick up something on cars? Right? So subtle jokes. Or your income that you earn is probably only for your makeup and your beauty parlor expense, and not for you're not probably the breadwinner. So these are subtle jokes that are masquerading, right? So it's really insulting for women. It's the gender, you just attach the gender to it, but you don't really look at the person who's contributing equally hardworking, equally talented. So devaluing women's view. This is again something that's very, very common in a lot of meetings. These things again happen where women's voices are suppressed. So in a lot of meetings, conferences, so this is not just limited to conference or meetings, or even in White House has been happening, even in our parliament, women's voices are suppressed, where it's been told a lot of times that women have to keep their hands raised. They just not raise it and drop it, right? Then their attention is not given at all. So devaluing women's views, or, oh, what do you know? You might give better tips on cooking or beauty stuff, but you may not know anything on technical stuff, correct? So those kind of subtle comments that get passed on. Unmerited gender labeling. So this very classically again applies to male members as well, right? Male or women don't cry like a baby. You also related with that, right? Irrespective of that. So emotions are something that everyone have. There's no point in labeling people with what emotions they've got to have. And role stereotyping. So this is not just something like classic example is nursing is related to women, or teaching in India specifically, right? All teachers are most of them are female. Men hardly take up the profession of teachers for schools, right? Not many men are there. 95% are female. So stereotyping of certain role, receptionist only a female, right? So those kind of stereotyping, but not just that, but also things like when you're in a meeting room, or when you're having a simple a family dinner together, right, or a potluck lunch, it is the female who are there in the kitchen serving stuff or getting the plates ready, setting up the table, whereas the men are having a lot of fun. So why is it that even in meeting rooms sometimes it's expected that women have to take the minutes of the meeting, right? So those kind of subtle things, sometimes it is unconscious. There was a beautiful thing that one of my male friends had shared. He's a senior project manager with Infosys. He was my ex-colleague. I just casually checked, have you ever come across these types of stereotyping? He confessed to me saying that he once a client had visited, and I unconsciously had just picked up some beautiful girls, young girls in my team, to go and welcome the client when they just landed into our office, which is just because you are stereotyped to do that. Whereas the senior male team leads, they got so offended with that. They came to me and they said that, hey, we have been working in that particular client's project for the last 3 years. We are so senior. We know things. We can have much more productive conversation with that client when we bring them along, welcome them, and we've been talking to them over phone, but this is the first time we're interacting. We wanted that opportunity, whereas you're giving it to someone who's very junior, right? And this manager just realized that such an unconscious an act, how it has impacted the team members, correct? And you just do that because you are tuned to, because we are all brought up in such a way where women go and welcome young girls, or pretty girls go and welcome, do the reception role, right? The stereotyping. Assumptions that caring and careers don't mix up, okay? So this again is not just for women alone, but also even men, right? If a male colleague comes and says that, hey, I have to go and pick up my kid from school, so immediately the thing is, hey, what's your wife doing? Why can't your wife do that, right? Or if a male colleague says that, hey, I think I baked this cake, they're like looked at like, oh, okay, okay, kind of stuff, right? So whereas when a woman says that, hey, I don't know how to make chapatis, like, hey, what, you don't even know how to make chapatis? What were you doing all these years? Right? Probably she was slogging out as good as a male colleague in the same office, but she has to hear all these comments as to why can't you make chapatis? Right? So these are some of the comments, subtly the assumptions that women have to do certain things, and when women go on a break, career breaks or maternity breaks, right? Or especially when women after their childbirth and all, when they come in, a lot of times managers, they look at, oh, 6 o'clock, oh, women have the luxury to go leave office at 6, right? Or whereas we men, we don't have. So these are subtle comments, that sexist remarks that keep going in. And a lot of times managers have, supervisors have come and told, hey, no, 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 we don't want young, recently married women, because they'll anyway go on 6 month maternity leave. Because in India, we have the 6 month leave for maternity. No, 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 we don't want to have them in our teams. But these are the ones that are really impacting women in their careers, which are making women to drop out. There are a lot of times where women have to stand up and prove their mettle. And the moment they come back from their maternity leave, they have to work doubly hard. One is to take care of the young baby at home, as well as work doubly hard at work to prove their mettle, so that they don't miss out that promotion cycle, right? And preoccupation with appearance. So this is again very specifically for women, right? How they dress up. If there is makeup, then, oh, this lady wears too much makeup. If there's no makeup, oh my God, how can she come without makeup? So either this is wrong or that is wrong. So everything is being judged, being looked upon, right? So this beautiful book that was written on Marisa Mayer of Yahoo, right? So she would come for meetings with wet hair and no makeup for important meetings, right? And she would look down for that. She was point, but she did not care about it. All that mattered for her was her work, her business. That is what mattered for her. The looks. Same thing for a man. It does not apply whether they wear no makeup. Does not matter at all, right? So these are subtle remarks that keep passing. How these are the experiences that uh, sexism plays, how it plays at our day-to-day lives, in our careers, even at home. It gets started, right? So male person will be sitting at the head of the table, or it is the young girls who have to go and set the table, and not the young boys at home. So they have the luxury to sit at the couch or watch TV. So those kind of subtle things, it starts at home. Okay, some examples of sexism remarks where even Jayalalitha had to go through in India, right? A very nasty remark where she had to face from her opposing ex-CM Karunanidhi, right? She has to face it, I think. And now recently, Kangana Ranaut had to face a comment. Anushka Sharma from Gavaskar was, he didn't have to mention about how Virat Kohli's batting failed because she was playing to Anushka Sharma's ball. So these are some of the subtle remarks that people keep passing, and that became a huge uproar, right? And this is not so not just that it's happening in day-to-day thing, but how even celebrities get hit by this, right? So, and I'm sure Jayalalitha has gone through a huge, because of the way she was dominating. I think one is there's a different kind of awe. People look at her with awe, and the other thing is she's also saying that she's been looked down also with the way she made people fall at her feet, and that kind of thing, because she had to dominate and exhibit that power, right? So these are some of the examples that not just in India but even globally. Uh, Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, when she now left, some of the remarks that came out was that she was always questioned as to, hey, why did you don't you have multiple suits when you come? You always come in the same suit. She would have to immediately redirect the journalist question, saying that, can you look at what I'm doing for the nation, and rather than look at what I'm wearing, right? So these have been there. That is there throughout globally. This is something that's been present. Yeah, and some of the languages that are there, simple languages that people use, something like man-made. So a lot of times people write, when you write to a district collector, it's like always dear sir. The madam part is missed out, dear sir or madam, right? Manpower, man-made, fireman, policeman, police woman. So better word would be police officer, or a chairperson would be a better thing. Who will man the stall? Who will manage the stall. It's a better word rather than man. Mankind is why mankind? All men are created equal. I mean that became again a huge, a controversial statement. All why only men are created equal, right? All why not all people are created equal, right? So these are some of the languages that we have to be very conscious. Manpowers and very casually we use these languages. So subtle consciousness will definitely help in the long run in the way even the younger generation are going to look up. So it has been very clearly proven that, and someone rightly said, when I was born, I don't even know what sex I belong to, right? But how subtly these things our behaviors are formed into the mind of children, right from children, right? Why is pink for girls? Why is blue for boys? Did they actually choose the color? Right? It's all more from the marketing. Why should girls play only with teddy bear toys? Why should young boy child should play only with trucks? Right? How are they tuned? Did they ask for that? But it is the parents who tune them, right? To stereotype them to certain roles, right? Boys should play with trucks or robots, whereas girls should play with kitchen sets, right? So these are some of the tuning that starts right from the young age. And there was another beautiful survey that was done in Stanford or Oxford University. And that very clearly showed what they did was they went into multiple kindergarten schools and 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids. They made them draw pictures of firefighters, for pilots and surgeons. Only these three things. And 80% of the kids at 5, 6-year-old age group, they drew them as male. When they drew them, the firefighter was a man, surgeon was a man, the pilot was a aircraft pilot was a male again, right? How did that? And when they brought in the real people who were all female, the children were at awe. Like, oh, we didn't know that they could be, or where are you making up stuff, or are you role playing as a thing? So that is what the children thought, right? Because these things are subconsciously going and sitting in people's mind. Yeah. Okay. So types of sexism that again have been classified as one is a mantruptor, where if a woman is trying to say something is interrupted or the sentence is completed by a male, right? So a lot of times this is happening in a lot of meetings or in conferences that we go, we see that the women's voices are suppressed. And again, the proprietor, right? So proprietor are someone who don't give credit to the ideas when it comes from female. They, especially a lot of times supervisors, they do that. And though women employees would start off the work and finish the project, the credit is taken away, or at least part of the credit is taken away by the other gender. And it's not just the male, but this also happens with women to women also. So completely there. So bro proprietor is a word that is there. Not that I keyed in, but these are some of the standard terms with great research that has been brought out. And maybe cis proprietor. Let me look for something. There's something called cis proprietor as well. Women me. So this is the equivalent of cis proprietor, rather women me, where women are enemies to each other, right? So when one woman grows, the other women they pull their leg and they don't let them grow. See, and all these examples are not something that happens everywhere. It's a mix. We all have gone through multiple careers or multiple years of experience or different teams that we would have worked with. So we would have seen multiple supervisors. Some places we meet these kind of experiences. So some are very good, some are bad. Mansplaining, again, a very common term where men end up explaining to women, assuming that maybe assuming that this is how the car, like especially there's this classic example where women, husband and wife go to buy a car, and the salesperson at the car showroom goes and explains all the features only to the by looking at the husband and not to the wife. Whereas the wife that's going to be driving the car, the salesperson automatically assumes that the lady does not know these things or may not understand these subtle points, right? So these are some of the subtle things that to be watched out for. Or simple things like assuming that a ballet class is only for girls or only female children should be doing that, and not a male kid cannot learn ballet. So that is subtle points happen. And in terms of statistics, On an average around the world, it has been proven across a nation, there is no nation that has equal hours, whereas in India, it is about women spend twice as much of unpaid work. So when you say unpaid work, the work that is done at home, either cooking or cleaning up or taking care of the household stuff, in India, it is said that women spend 6 hours more than men. Yeah. So in US, this ratio is 4 hours is for women who do unpaid work, whereas men do 2.5 hours. In India, it is 6 hours more. The difference in India is very high. So, but in no countries across the globe, this statistic was done across 149 nations, and none of them had equal unpaid work between men and women. So that is something that is proven. And the other statistics is women are 47% more likely to suffer with severe injuries and car and accidents. So this again, this was a survey that was done across 11-year period with all the crashes. Close to 30,000 crashes were analyzed, and they came up with saying that the way the safety features in cars and all are designed, it is considering that men are the drivers, the height and the muscular features and the neck features and everything is designed for men in a car, whereas it is not designed for women. So that is another thing. And similarly, pay parity. There is a huge gender gap. World Economic Forum, it actually said that it will take another 108 years for us to balance this pay gap between men and women. Men and women, even though at the same role, women get paid a bit less as compared to the male colleague, even though they are at the same level, right? Take the case examples of movie stars or be it in any field. This is what has been proven that the gender gap, pay parity is there's a huge difference there. Pink tax. Any guesses on what is pink tax? Pink tax is nothing but the dresses or the cosmetics or anything that you buy, women buys, right? Women apparels or women cosmetics as compared to that of male cosmetics or male apparel. So this is again a study that was done. It was found that when ladies went and did shopping for themselves versus for their husbands or for their spouses or for their girl child versus the boy child, the girl child's expenses per week came to close to $20 more as compared to that of the male child. So that when they did the math and did it for annually and for up to 60-year lifespan that a female is going to live, the numbers blew the mind. So the thing is that that's something that has been psychologically put in, saying that cosmetics and apparel think something. This is again marketing strategies that they've added in and benefited out of that. But why is that? Gain the differences. What individuals can do to stand against this. So always watch out for, if you hear such remarks, watch out for observations. What if people look at their reaction, how they're getting impacted? Stand up, step in front of it, and call out such remarks. That's something that's very important that we call it out. So stand up for others, right? So question conventional gender paradigms, emphasize accountability, and think before you speak. So there is this again that beautiful video that came in, which I'm sure most of you would have watched, where it was always looked up. A manager looks down when the female employee leaves office at 6 p.m. So a male colleague comes and says that, hey, even I want to leave at 6 p.m. Why is it you're working? All men, you're sitting and working, you don't have a life. Please go outside and enjoy your work-life balance. There's so many things to do outside. Just because few of us are sitting and slogging it out, even the male colleagues, everyone is expected to sit back late and work. Whereas I have so much to do at home where I can spend time with my family as well. Even men get impacted because that video came out very beautifully. So I'll probably share the link in our group later. So sexism starts in childhood, and it is just the bigger issues, the violence or the rape and molestation and all these things are just tip of the iceberg. But the problem, the bigger piece that lies, that a lot of people, they go through the way they are objectified, the remarks, the jokes, the roles, the stereotypes. So all these things are a larger thing that slowly we need to overcome and change the mindset.